Here we go. Hey, your communication, your presentations, your ability to influence your staff, if you're a principal, it might need a little tune up. It might stink, to be quite honest. Even if you're not a school leader, today's video will help. The focus is to do this one thing to be a more effective communicator. Now, the thing is, as an educator, I don't blame you if you're not effective in terms of communication. It's totally okay because listen, when you go to school to train to be a school leader, there is no class on great storytelling, presenting, communication. And a lot of the examples we see out there in our industry, they suck. They just do. That's the honest truth, and I'm here to give you the truth. Okay. The biggest challenge I think that educators face when communicating is that their focus is wrong. Right? Their focus is on the content, delivering the message, and sometimes that's because it comes down from the ivory tower in central office, and it's just like, hey, we need to get through this stuff, or the state, whatever. So the content might be the focus. The other reality, sorry to tell you, but you're focused on yourself, right? It's an ego focus. It's like, hey, are people listening? Are they enjoying what I'm saying? Am I funny? Is my fly open? Do I have spinach in my teeth? Like, what are people thinking? And your focus is on you. So one of the tricks, right, is to focus on the audience. And what I want to talk about here today is leverage. It's the big domino. And people say, right, it comes from Gary Keller's The One Thing. If there was one thing you could do today that makes everything else easier or unnecessary, guess what? That is what I'm teaching you right now. So you focus on other people if you want to be a more effective communicator. And I'm revealing the secret right now. Write this down. Focus on their obstacles, challenges, and problems. And I want you to address those in your presentation. So, yeah, the content matters. Yeah, if your message is landing, right? If people find you engaging or whatever matters. But what matters most is your audience. So think about their challenges, obstacles, whatever. I want to model this for you. And if you think about the best teachers too, when I was in the classroom, I was effective. The biggest reason is because I knew my kids. I knew that they were interested in, right? I knew what drove them. And I tried to connect those interests from outside the classroom into the classroom, and it made it a more engaging experience. So here it is. The one thing to be a more effective communicator: address obstacles, challenges, objections, right? And so one of the things that I do is the mastermind. I love to serve school leaders. We have a weekly community, very driven people, very innovative. I call you all ruckus makers. I'm a chief ruckus maker, of course. And the thing is, we talk about education leadership in depth on a weekly basis as a community. Isolation is the number one enemy of excellence. And so we do it together. Leading in isolation is a choice. You don't have to do that. So when I talk to new people interested in the mastermind, some of the challenges, fears, objections, obstacles that they may have, let's go through them. One of them, believe it or not, self-doubt. Okay, self-doubt. And why do I have a card? Because I want you to I have 10 objections. I want you to write down the objections on 3x5 cards here, because as you're thinking about your presentation and story and communication with your staff, you want to go through these and look at them. And as you're crafting the message, move them around so that they are expressed in a way that makes logical sense. Okay. So I want to touch on self-doubt because we all have this, the imposter syndrome. I was talking to a beautiful, wonderful leader today, and what she told me is sometimes I don't believe in myself. I lack confidence. Boom, there you go. And so if you're about to join a high-level community with top performing, leaders around the world in education, some people think, am I good enough for this space? What value will I bring? These people are doing stuff that I've only dreamed about, right? And so there's self-doubt, and I can talk to that in my messaging, whether that's a blog or a video like this, or something on social media. And if I go deeply into that self doubt, that removes that challenge. All right. What's another problem? They might have a problem with price. It's not free. The best stuff in life is not free, you know? And currently, members invest 350 per month. So that can be a challenge for some. But honestly, what I've learned, and I know this from my own behavior, if I want something bad enough, I figure out how to buy it. Okay. There's an abundance of ways to fund things that you want. So usually, price is not an objection. That's just a way that people hide. But that's something to address again in the messaging and the communication, because if I can handle that nicely, then people might be more interested in joining our mastermind community. Okay, so price is something that we talk about. The other thing too, so I guess live just doing this, think about what it might cost for you going to a convention, a conference live, right? What does that cost you? Plus airfare, plus hotel, plus food, right? What is all that altogether? And it's for typically, right, a 1 day, a 2 day, 3 day at most type experience. Mastermind is weekly, right? Throughout the year, there's only 4 official breaks. So for the membership cost, which is 350 a month, that's 4,200 for the year. For that price point and weekly getting better in your craft, it's absolutely worth it. So price might be objection. Here's the real objection though. Most people have a trouble figuring out like where does it fit into my schedule and time. And so if I wasn't to go into this, I might tell the story of Nick. Nick, who's a principal, launched a new school in a middle school in Delaware, and he told me, Danny, that was the biggest challenge. Join the mastermind. Where do I have the time? Do I have the time? And he said, you know what? I said I'll give it a shot for 3 months. If it's not working, I can exit, which is totally fine. What Nick told me is that he learns from the discussions and strategy and what we do within our community. He gets so much value in ideas, in tactics and strategy there, that the hour he invests in the group saves him multiple hours each week in the actual business of school, right? And he says it's not uncommon for him to just walk into a situation and be like, oh, we've already talked about that in the mastermind. This is the key from shifting proactive or reactive to proactive leadership. If you are having high level discussions with other peers who want to grow, you become a more proactive leader because you're thinking further down the line. Okay. So that's time. Nick gets back time from the time that he invests. It makes you more efficient in your role. Okay. Another objection: the students and the staff are more important. Educators are great. They're compassionate. They're extremely generous. Every school leader I know looks to make wise deposits, right, into the staff, into the students before what they do for themselves. But we know the metaphor: airplane, right? Oxygen mask. You don't put the oxygen mask on other people before yourself because you're no good dead. So it's a big mistake. Obviously, I'm biased because I love serving school leaders, but think of our motto: everybody wins when a leader gets better, when you get better. Isn't that true? And you often hear the metaphor that you can't pour from an empty cup. Here's an empty cup. If I'm going to pour it, right, and try to fill your cup, it ain't happening. And so that's the thing with the mastermind, is that it fills your cup, which comes to another objection. I'm on empty, right? I just don't have the energy to develop myself. Well, what if the mastermind filled your cup? What if it recharged you? You know, and that's the best feedback that I got. Ellen, I was talking to Ellen. She's a fantastic principal, elementary school, Arizona. She told me, I leave the mastermind recharged. Where do you go as a school leader in all the spaces that you occupy, right? Where do you go that you're excited to go there and you leave better and energized? And it's in the education space. I'm waiting. Tell me. Put it in the comments. The answer is nowhere unless you're a part of the mastermind, okay? So that might be an objection. Credibility. Who is this Danny Bauer guy? Why should I listen to this dude? Or who are some of the other coaches like Kareen and Gene and Paige? Well, combined, we have, a century worth of experience leading in education. Our master coaches, right? They've held the principal position for years at many different levels. Paige works in the central office, right? Has a superintendent's certificate. So these are some really experienced people, folks that are doing advanced degrees and all that kind of stuff. Kareen has a published book, so lots of credibility there. And hopefully you think that I have something to say because it's credible. Here you are watching the video. But at the end of the day, listen, I'm super confident in this. I've talked to hundreds of leaders around the world, right? The podcast has 1.5 million downloads. I'm able to keynote live events. The book is on the way to being a bestseller. The National Superintendents Association, they co-published this book, right? There it is. Whoop, AASA. So this is an incredible thing, People are paying attention. They're saying this dude knows what he's talking about. So that addresses credibility, right? Not to mention I've coached hundreds of school leaders, all from around the world. It's too good to be true. Will this work? And so this is a little hack. I didn't think I'd talk about this. I would start studying. I put out case studies, right? Go to the betterleadersbetterschools.com website. Just type in the search bar case study. And there's case studies that are now coming out from our members. And I've been doing this for years. They've gotten better. They're really good now. I can say that. In the past, not so much. I was learning, right? But that's what I love about putting my work out in public. You get to see the evolution. The case studies we're putting out these days, I'm super confident about. And here's why they're important to you. Is it too good to be true? Will it work? Case studies have nothing to do with Danny Bauer, Better Leaders, Better Schools. It has to do with the leaders we serve. And my goal is to champion them, to put them on a pedestal, to say, like, these people are awesome. What can we learn from their story? And a great case study, very simply, is here's the context. Here's this person, how they're relatable. Here's a problem they faced. Here's how they transformed, right? And people see themselves within that case study. So that's from a business perspective. As a school leader, tell the story of your students, right? Here's who they are, kind of context, where they live, where they come from. Here's a challenge they faced. Here's how they grew, And so anyways, a lot of people wonder, like, is it really worth it? Can they over deliver on the promises that they make? Case studies show that. And schools would be wise, super, super wise to start doing that. 2 more objections. Family, right? My kids are young or too busy. And I don't have a great response to that. I mean, the answer is you're probably right. You know your family. I don't. There's a guy I love, Bill. Bill is a principal, Michigan. He's in the mastermind, which I'm thrilled about, and he wanted to join for years. So why did he wait years to join the mastermind? Well, his kids were younger. They were involved. Now, as they're getting older, they're more independent. They can take care of themselves. He doesn't have as much responsibility. And now he can take that hour for himself, right? So it was like a 3-4 year journey for Bill. That might be your story. So that's perfectly okay. We want you to prioritize your family. Last objection, just another Zoom. Not right, okay? There is an art to gathering people, to designing with empathy and human-centered approach, to be just like so deep and engineering the kind of experience where people feel connected, where they do feel recharged, that it's not just on and on and on in all the Brady Bunch type of squares. The fact that we've been playing on Zoom since 2015, when it wasn't even a part of your language, dear Ruckus Maker. And that was kind of cool. The pandemic has not been easy for any school leader, certainly not for members for the mastermind. But it was easier for them than it was for people outside. Want to know why? They still had all the craziness to deal with. But we've been playing on a virtual space, making it engaging, making it a spot where people love to come and, again, feel recharged. And they were playing, experimenting, modeling that for years. pandemic hit, and when they had to go virtual, they did it without a problem, right? It wasn't easy, but they knew how to do it and they weren't freaking out. So uh, I was modeling there, talking about the mastermind, some objections people might have to it. But the point is, if you want to be a more effective communicator, on 3x5 cards, think about challenges, objections, fears, obstacles people have, whether that's a project based learning thing that you want to do, or you move into competency grading. Doesn't matter, but take into consideration the audience. Again, the objections, fears, and challenges, and create a message that addresses that stuff. It will make you more effective in your communication, guarantee it. All right. Hey, have a great day. Love you all. If you haven't checked out my book, listen, it's good. It really is. I've been told conversational, funny, even well researched. And I would be so honored if you checked it out. It's over at betterleadersbetterschools.com. Mastermind book. You can see it there at the bottom of your screen. Have a great day. Go make a ruckus. And bye for now.